Everybody, please rise. Delegate Assembly, come to order. Captain, would you lead us in the pledge, please?
My pleasure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be looking at the minutes while we get our sheriff's report.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Trust everyone had a great Thanksgiving holiday. Yeah, and we did very well with those storms. Thank goodness they dodged us. Everything is going pretty good in District 3, crime-wise. We're holding our own as we come into the end of the year. Lieutenant Monath is here with us this morning. He's got a really great report he's going to give. Before we go into that, I just want to wish everyone happy holidays for December. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah. May you guys enjoy the holiday season with your friends and family. And as a special presentation, today we have pill drop in the lobby. So if you have any prescription medication you need to get rid of, today's the day to bring it in. And we have our community policing team from District 3 that's going to be facilitating that. And one of our members is a canine therapy dog. And I'm going to introduce him here to you. His name is Deputy Brian Cassie, and this is our canine bear. This is from our therapy unit at the sheriff's office. So just to let you know, Sheriff Bradshaw is very progressive when it comes to growing the sheriff's office in ways that it can touch the community in a meaningful way. Therapy dogs is a program that started a couple years ago, and it was really more used in the private sector as far as going to facilities and places where people might suffer some emotional trauma. Well, in law enforcement, we deal with that every day. We go to critical cases involving sexual abuse, domestic violence, critical injuries and vehicle accidents. So this program was co-opted or brought into the law enforcement realm, and the program's been up now. We've had it a little bit over a year, very successful. So we've grown the Sheriff's Office Therapy Dog Unit to at least 7 dogs, and we're looking to get maybe a couple more. We have 2 of them here in District 3, so our community policing unit is fielding 2 of the dogs. And Canine Bear will be with Deputy Cassie at the pill drop, so feel free to stop by and say hi. He's a sweet dog. Brian, do you want to say anything about the therapy dog unit?
The only thing, pretty much for me, it's when I. Oh, thank you. The only thing for me, I'll say pretty much, it's as a guy doing this started off, you're like, oh my God, therapy. But once you do it for the first time, when you see these dogs actually work, it's mind-blowing how much good it does for the victim. And to see, because it's proven that once you pet the dog, your confidence goes up, and once you're like nervous and stuff, it drops it. So for an interview, it definitely helps. And to see the kids during this time of like need for these dogs to help, even for me, I go home and I'm still surprised how well it does. So it's definitely grown on me, and it's definitely a good thing for the sheriff's office.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. All right, thank you. Thank you, Deputy Cassie. All right, with that, I'll turn it over to Lieutenant Monath, who will provide the crime report. Thank you so much.
Good morning, everybody. I haven't seen you guys in a while, so I'm glad to be in your presence today. And I got a doozy for you. Listen,
It's on.
I think they saved it for me. I haven't been here for a couple of months, and then they said, you know what, kid, you're going back in the game, and you have some good stories to tell, and I do. So let's talk about traffic enforcement. Over the good year, we kept telling you that our traffic enforcement unit was going to make a big presence in Century Village. We told you over and over again. We tell you how many tickets we write here, how many warnings, and we're here quite a bit. So this is an all-time record, and I think this number is going to shock you all, but we put a full court press on in Century Village. And it doesn't necessarily mean that the residents or the offenders, a lot of people have workmen that are coming in here, people that are coming to visit. You have some medical professionals that are coming in through the gate. And it doesn't mean that they're all playing by the rules and following the law, the stop signs, the speeding, which with that behavior, when they do it, contributes to crashes. So I will start with, we had 5 crashes last month. It gone up a little bit, but it's usually around 5 or less. We like to be on the lesser side, not the increased side. But here we go for the citations. So for the month of November, the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office wrote 121 traffic citations within Century Village. 121. So that's a lot. And that's, we have other contacts, but that's tickets. Warnings, we wrote 66. So you're over 180 contacts. That's a lot, right? In 1 month period. We never reached numbers like that. But now we have. So as you can see, we're trying to affect the behavior here in Century Village. And I think one of the worst intersections is right inside the Okeechobee Gate. I think that's the first major intersection where the stop sign is, right inside the gate, West Drive. That is the worst. I mean, literally, we could sit there all day long. People run right through the stop sign, or we get people coming towards the Okeechobee Gate that are speeding. So this goes on all day long. Unfortunately, I can't leave the guys there all day long, but they made enough of an impact that you now see what those numbers were in a 1 month period. Okay, so here's a doozy. I have cases of interest here. And so I read through some of these yesterday, and I just continuously just shake my head. We met with a resident as we were coming in here a little while ago, and she explained to us of a phone call that she received, and it was a fraudulent call. They're trying to elicit information, your banking information, personal information, but we all need to be smart at this point. I mean, if you're getting phone calls like that and they're starting to dive into your personal life, you need to hang up. So here's the first one. This one's not too bad. The victim believes a male acquaintance who is living with her has been using her debit card without her permission. That stuff happens. We have another acquaintance one. This one's in Dorchester. The first one was in Hastings. Victim believes a female acquaintance that was visiting her home took a necklace from her bedroom. Okay, here we go for the fraud. Male victim is being financially exploited by a female, loss over $20,000. Our Financial Crime Bureau is investigating this one.
Are you getting your money?
Victim received a phone call advising he was the winner of $10 million. $10 million. That's a lot of money, right? And that he had to pay the taxes on it in order to receive the winnings. That's a clue. If you're going to give me the money, then just give me the money. But why should I pay taxes on the money that you're giving me? Okay. So the victim proceeded, here's the bad part. The victim proceeded to send a check for $5,000 and then a $500 gift card. We've talked about the gift card scams all the time. If they're asking for gift cards, there's something very wrong with what's happening here. And then he mailed it out to California. But after he gave him the $5,000 and then the $500 gift card, he then realized it was a scam. Little late. Money gone. Okay, this one was in Wellington B. Victim received multiple emails from Apple. You know, a lot of us have Apple products, advising her money was being taken out of her account and being sent to China. Here we go. We got China involved. In order to stop this, she purchased multiple gift cards from various stores totaling $8,000. She then received a call requesting the codes on the card. You know, each card has a specific code once you pay the money to buy the card. And then she was instructed to deposit $11,000 into a Bitcoin ATM, which she did. I told you, this is not going to be a fun day with these stories. Here's another one. Victim applied for a grant for hurricane windows and medical purposes a Facebook friend told her about. She was approved for the grant and sent a total of $20,000 to an address in Texas. She became suspicious and did not send the remainder of the money requested. But in the meantime, she's out $20,000. Complainant was on her, this was just a suspicious incident. Complainant was on her recliner. She heard a knock at the front door, saw no one the next morning. The interior front door handle was hanging from screws. The door was recently installed, so somebody didn't tighten something down, and it appears the door handle came loose. And that is that for the stories. Pretty bad, you know. I mean, if we equaled all these cases of interest, I tell you, and we equal up all the money that people have lost within Century Village, we would be really rich, right? It's got to be, Captain. It's got to be way up there. You know, you hear these numbers of, 100,000 here and 25,000 here and another 100 and 200,000, and on and on and on it goes. These are your life savings. You've worked so hard for it, and now you're retired, and you're giving your money over to the criminal element. And then last but not least, so we're back in season, but for November, we had a little bit of an uptick in calls for service. We had 214 calls for service, of which we took 43 police reports. Nothing really of any concern other than the things that I told you a couple of minutes ago. I know Captain Palenzuela touched on, how we're doing in District 3, and I have to tell you, I'm gloating about this, is that, in the crime categories within the county that we track, this district is only up in 4 crime categories, where the rest of the county is 7, 8, 9, and 10 crime categories up. So as you can see here in District 3, we're taking our statistics and our crime trends very, very seriously. We do a lot of enforcement, especially this time of year for the holidays. We heavy load what we call the Okeechobee Corridor, which is outside your development, where all the shops and the shopping centers, a lot of people are shopping and going around. We heavy load more deputies into this area for the holidays. So you'll see a heavy uptick in some of our patrol cars and some of our unmarked cars getting into the shopping centers and trying to prevent some of these crimes that are occurring, which we've been very successful at, but that's going to continue through the new year. And anybody have any questions for us? Sir, let me get the mic so everybody can hear.
Hi, Carl Weglaws, Vice President of Stratford O. I thank you very much for all the work that you do here. I do live on North Drive in Stratford O section. We seem to have a horrible speeding problem on that road. Is there a way to request more officers on the north side? I know you do a lot of work on the west side street by the stop sign there, but I live on an end unit which is right on North Drive, and I could count probably 20 times on my hands on the amount of cars doing 40 to 50 miles an hour down that road. And what about the installation of stop signs?
So as far as the staffing goes, I'll just tell my traffic units just to concentrate more on the north side also. That's just an easy telephone call or an email from me. As far as stop signs go, you'll have to talk to the community. We're not responsible for the traffic signs that are within your gated community. So you'd have to probably contact somebody from UCO that deals with the property management, and that you'd have to explain the traffic sign situation. Now, usually within developments, they usually have a study done. It's a traffic engineering study that is done before the sheriff's office is permitted to come into a gated development to do traffic enforcement. So I know that has been done. So as far as just arbitrarily adding more stop signs, I don't know if there's any legal ramifications or how that works, but I would get with somebody from UCO and see if they can help you out with that. You got it, sir. Anybody else? All right. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you guys in 1 month, and thank you for your time. We appreciate you.
Sergeant Kush will be at 1 o'clock.
Okay. Thank you. Has everybody looked at the minutes? Do we have any corrections or additions to the minutes? I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes as presented. George, who seconds? Bobby Levin. Thank you. As you can see, David is still out. He is making progress. He is getting better, and hopefully he will return soon. I have a couple of things that I would like to bring to your attention. First of all, November 7th, between 9 and 11:30. If you, December. I'm sorry. December 7th, they're going to be giving out the option sheets here in the clubhouse. Please make sure that your building is represented. Come and get your insurance option sheets. If you can't make it on that date, in your package, there is a form with the additional dates that you can have. Make sure everybody reads it. Make sure if the officers are not here, make sure you give it to them so they can get your option sheets. Next thing, as we're coming to the end of the year and annual meetings are being scheduled, new officer forms must be given to UCO and to your management company. Your management company updates Sunbiz. UCO updates your delegates forms. We have a lot of associations that have not been updated for years because it's the same people, but some of those people are deceased, they no longer live here, and we have issues. So please come, pick up a form, fill it out, and return it so that your association can be represented at Delegate Assembly. The next thing in March, there will be elections for 10 executive board members and 2 vice presidents. If you have any inkling to run, someone will be speaking to you about that. If you have any questions, call the UCO office. We'll try to help you out. And please try to participate a little more than just coming to Delegate Assembly. The last thing is barcodes. We're being bombarded with barcodes. Very simple. I know that people tell us we make our own rules. The same rules have applied. In order to get a barcode, you must have a Century Village ID. You must have a registration in your name, not your wife, not your girlfriend, not your child's name, or a rental company. It's got to be in the resident's name and $10 in cash if you do not have one on your car. If you get a new car, don't let the dealer take it off and put it on the new car, because 9 times out of 10, it will not work. And you shouldn't be doing that anyway. If you're a resident or a renter and you're moving out of the village, come to the UCO office and notify us, and we'll shut your barcode down. Or if you trade your car in, or if you sell it, whatever you do, that's to prevent people from coming into the village that don't belong here. Okay. Does anybody have any questions on those things I just discussed? Terrific. We'll start with Dominic. Officers' reports.
Good morning. I have exactly what Fausto just told you all. It's very difficult for us to try to calm people down when they believe they're doing the right thing with their car and so forth, and they walk away cursing us for not giving them the barcode that they're looking for. That's pretty much what I handle is the installation of barcodes. On a rainy day, you can't put it on the glass because it's going to slide off and be useless. So other than that, send them in. Thank you.
Thank you, Dominic. Stuart.
Last Wednesday, I was coming into the Haverhill Gate, and there was a huge 3-car smash-up that had blocked the entrance to Haverhill, streets going back and forth on Haverhill, and 3 cars were really in bad shape, and the police were taking the people out of the cars and putting them into ambulances, which clearly show how fragile our lives are, and you never know what's going to happen next. I'd like to take this opportunity to recognize the fact that one of our dear volunteers, Barbara Cornish, had passed away. She was a former vice president, a volunteer, an important part of our Century Village team here in Yuko, and she will be sorely missed. I would like to take this opportunity to thank Dave Boaz for all he's done as a former VP and a person coming in all the time, helping us out when we needed help. And so thank you, Dave. I would also like to take the opportunity to thank the unsung heroes of Yuko, and those are our people who work behind the scenes, the ones that provide us with investigations and doing the barcodes and taking a lot of abuse from people who are coming in with attitudes. And without our staff, we could not function the way we do. And I want to publicly thank them for all they do for us. And then I would like to take this opportunity to say how proud I am to be connected with Yuko and all the people on the stage here. They are just dedicated, hardworking, super people. And I want to use this opportunity to say how grateful I am to be part of this group. And lastly, I would like to thank everybody sitting here in the audience, because without the Delegate Assembly, we really cannot do what we have to do. And you're all invited to Yuko. We are not going to provide you with lobster and California wines like they did in the White House, but we got Florida water and seltzer and clean bathrooms, and you're all welcome. And I also would like to take this opportunity to thank our CAM for working 7 days a week and making sure that our village is running as smoothly as it is. Without his work, without his effort, we just can't make it through. And lastly, as a historian, December 7th, 1941, the day that the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor, changed our lives forever, and it's coming up, and I just want to have you recognize those things. And lastly, on the last page of Dickens' novel, The Christmas Carol, Tiny Tim stands up and pronounces something that's so very important. He looks down at the clock, and it's almost 12 o'clock, and he screams out, "My glass is empty. Who's got the gin?" So we can't provide you with alcohol, but we do have cold water for you. Have a good holiday. God bless everybody.
Thank you, Stuart. Patricia, you're next.
How could I top that? Thank you, Stuart. That was beautiful. Pardon me?
Give everybody a raise.
Yeah. Above zero is what? Double zero?
Yep.
Thank you for coming. Good morning. As usual, I don't have much to say except that I wanted to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas, a Happy Hanukkah, a Happy Kwanzaa, and in case I leave anyone out, a very happy holiday. You know, December tis the season for giving. People think that you have to give expensive gifts, make an elaborate dinner, cook 8 dozen cookies like I do or whatever. Not necessarily true. If you have a neighbor, you know they're alone, invite them in for a bowl of soup. Just an act of kindness. Maybe someone you haven't talked to in a long time, just say hello, wish them a happy holiday. Let's try to be nice to each other, regardless of religion, creed, color, practices. It doesn't matter. We're all God's children, and I think it's important, and it's easier to be nice than it is to be mean. With that, I'm going to end this and say have a blessed day. God bless you.
Thank you. I neglected to say we have 138 delegates signed in. So we have a quorum. Joanne, you're next.
I have nothing to report other than to say happy holidays to everyone and thank you all for being here. It's a great turnout today. We appreciate it and have a wonderful new year. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Bob Rivera.
Well, I'll start off by saying also happy holidays. I hate to ruin this because all this good feelings here. Because I do have things to say this time. I didn't last month, but this month I do. We have a situation over here in Hastings, and I believe we have a sauna in here. Someone has been putting leaves on the sauna. That is, number one, a fire hazard. Number two, if something's burning in there, while you're in there, you can also die. We don't want to see that happen. They're talking about possibly closing the saunas, which, if this continues, I'm in favor of completely closing the saunas, and I'm a person that likes saunas, so it would be something that I really don't want to see. But I'm going to suggest that WPRF has a sign-in sheet for anyone using the sauna. Either put a lock on it and have the security open it. Person has to sign in to use it, give up their ID, and maybe we'll stop this. Also, somebody's been drinking their beer in the saunas. All right? Come on, people. Be real. All right? You're going to come here and you're going to bring your beer with you. Do that at home. All right? As far as the officer forms that he was speaking of earlier, I'm sorry. Whenever you fill those out, please assign some alternate to the delegates. Because if you don't sign somebody as an alternate, your building is not represented. So you must put an alternate, all right? Stop trying to hog it, trying to be Mr. Condo Nazi or whatever you want to call it, all right? Start delegating some of your authorities in your buildings and give other people a chance to come to the Delegate Assembly and learn what this is about, all right? That's the only way that people are going to start caring about what happens in this village, if they come here and they see that. We need to start caring about what's going on in this village. We have too many people that are moving in and they don't give a darn. That's not the word I wanted to use, but I'm going to say it. All right? It's getting to a point, honestly, all right, it's getting to a point where I'm even considering selling out and moving because this is getting ridiculous here. It really is. And I want to see this. I love this place. I came here to take care of my mom. I fell in love with it, and I've been here ever since. I've been here 12 years now. And I would like to see this village get back to what it was. All right?
Richard?
I'd like to back up what Bob said. There's no limit on the number of alternate delegates you may appoint, and there is no restriction on whom you may appoint. It can be a relative, a lawyer, someone who does not live even in Century Village. There are no restrictions. It's entirely up to the Condo Association Board of Directors.
Yeah, you don't.
The Florida statute has no restrictions on whom the board may nominate or appoint for a delegate. Thank you.
I just want everybody to know that I made a motion at a WPRF meeting to close and eliminate the sauna. The reason I did so was because there was one death and one fire. I don't really believe that a sauna in Century Village is an absolute necessity. They have them in Finland. We're Florida. So I think we really should consider closing it. And if I need to make a motion here, if you tell me I'm allowed to do it, I would do it.
The operations is the place to do that.
That's where I made the motion, and I want you to know every single officer voted no. So I think now, since Bob brought it up, I think they should have a change of mind, and I would like the officers to consider that. Thank you.
Okay.
Uh,
Ed,
Hold on one second, Ed. I would like to respond to that. The sauna, I've been in there many times. I think it's a good perk. The people who are not obeying the rules in the sauna are the ones that should be punished, not the general population. If you remember, the police department gave out 130 some odd speeding violations. We had the police put up a sign on the main road saying you're speeding and what the traffic speed limit is and so on. I sat there and watched them just drive by without stopping, and I see them speeding every day. And these are the kinds of people who do not obey the rules and regulations, and these are the people who are causing these fires and so on. And why should we allow them to dictate what we have and we don't have? Thank you.
good job, Stuart. Ed, you're up.
Thank you. First of all, I want to say that, Stuart, you did a wonderful job of commending the people who have done their work, including the people who are coming here to the Delegate Assembly. And Richard made a nice little speech, but I think what we also have to advise those that are coming in new that you don't have to be a delegate to attend the Delegate Assembly, because otherwise you keep getting questions and questions, and it's incumbent of everybody that's here, I don't mean just in the Delegate Assembly, who lives here, to have as much knowledge as possible, because the easiest thing is just to complain without really knowing what you're talking about. And I think we as delegates should make that clear, and it also should go into the newspaper where we keep asking for people to come. So thank you, Stuart. The other thing is, I'm up here last, but I wish everybody a happy and healthy New Year and all the holidays that are there, and look forward to next year. Basically, in regard to the numbers, I think that we're continuing to do very well. The operation of the month came down to under $200 loss, and overall, as I said last month, we're within $60,000 right now of the budget, which is a combination of very good work and a tremendous amount of luck also. That could easily change. And the last but not least, which I've been bringing up before, and I brought up, I've completed my study in regard to purchasing CDs which are allowed under our bylaws. And what's happened is the CDs are paying as much as treasuries, while Richard's bringing that up on his advisory committee. CDs are permitted. Now, what a lot of people don't know, and I'm bringing it back up again to the offices, that one, you're limited to $250,000 guaranteed by FDIC. Two, that if we as individual, UCO, go out and say, we'll buy it from every bank, you'll need 20 banks to come up to $5 million. And that's a nonsense. What I'm proposing and what will be presented again is one outfit, and if someone can do better, that's fine, who will not charge us commission, who will get the CDs, and every bank that they propose is going to be guaranteed by the FDIC. And what we have now, and if you read my article, they're paying about 4%. And based on my original estimate of a half of our reserves, we're now talking a contribution of $200,000 in interest. So I want everybody to be aware of that, and I think what we see coming forward, we could use the money. So just bringing you up to date as an example, and I'll cut it off, while our gas prices have dropped, I'd like everybody to take a look at where the diesel prices are now, which are well over $5, which we pay for the buses. So who knows? Have a great year, and hope to see you again next month. Eddie?
Thank you, Ed. As the officers told you, could you please put that in writing with institutions that we can contact so that we know who we're talking about? And at this point, I'm going to turn to Ruth Dries, our UCO reporter editor.
Excuse me for interrupting you. If you noticed at the last officers' meeting, I invited a principal from the outfit, and I say they're doing it without charging commission. I have no favorite, but in order to accomplish, let's say, $5 million, you need to place at least 20 banks, and they're all guaranteed. So watch the next officers' meeting and the finance meeting. Thank you.
Okay, good morning all. How are you? Glad you got back from Thanksgiving. If you refer to the reporter breakdown in your packet, you will see that for the 11 months through November, we are ahead 4878. Get us some ads wherever you go. Ask them to advertise in the UCO Reporter. We could use it. Have a very Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, and whatever you celebrate. See you next year.
Ruth makes your UCO reporter possible. She works from home, she works from the office. Without this young lady, you would not have a UCO reporter. She deserves a big round of applause. Okay, Donald, you're up.
Good morning, everyone. Just one thing today. Had a confirmed report this week that a unit owner in the Somerset section is killing iguanas with a pellet rifle. Two things. It's actually not illegal in Florida to use a pellet rifle near residences, but given the density of our community and how close we live together, it's incredibly dangerous and stupid. The other thing is when we examined the dead iguana bodies laying along the shoreline, we found that they had been shot multiple times and had suffered for some time before they died. Animal cruelty is a crime, and we will report this to the police. Not to mention, just leaving dead iguanas laying around in the sun is just going to bring vermin, right? Which is another problem. So I'm asking you, please, I know the iguanas are a problem. I know that the individual associations are reticent about hiring licensed trappers to bring down the population, but that really is the only safe and humane way to bring them down. Eva at the clubhouse does use a licensed trapper that she's very satisfied with. The method of capture is traps or snaring with basically a rope on a pole. And the animals are euthanized in a humane and approved fashion. So I'm not going to make too big of a thing of this, but please, no pellet rifles, no BB guns, no wrist rockets, crossbows, cannons, whatever you got. Let's just hire the professionals. I know it's money, but it's really the only way. Thank you.
Thank you, Donald. Does anybody have any questions for Donald that he doesn't answer on a daily basis? You do?
What?
Ma'am, we can't hear you. You're going to have to come up to the microphone. Thank you.
My name is Kay Heilman. I'd like to know about the multiplication of all these ducks. I mean, I know people like ducks, but they're getting really multiplying.
Good morning, Mrs. Heileman. Actually, I think many of us will say the opposite. There were much less ducks than there were in previous years. I have a personal idea about this. One of the things we didn't have in previous years are otters. The otters themselves appear to be causing a problem, but one of the things the otters do besides eat fish is they're finding the duck nests and eating the eggs. And I've actually caught the otters red-handed doing this. The ducks have always been a problem, especially if you have a person feeding them in your building. My personal experience with residents who feed animals is I've never had any success with getting that type of person to stop the behavior. It just doesn't happen. The best I could ever hope for is to get the person doing it to feed them in a different spot, on the grass, not on your catwalk. But I do agree with you, the ducks are annoying, but they're here, and I really don't think that hiring trappers to get rid of them is going to make a difference. I think, there'll just be more. So I agree with you. Thank you.
Someone has a question.
Who has a question? Yes, please.
My name's Ernie. I've had a presence here in the village for 30 years now. And one of the main reasons I'm here, I shouldn't say main reasons, but one of the reasons I'm here is this beautiful environment I come down to here. And that includes all of the living animals that are on this property. The iguana, the ducks, the birds, the bees. I don't care what it is. Anyone who's interested in I've seen them more this year than ever before. I go down to the pool down here. I didn't see one iguana. Those are some of the most beautiful animals I've ever seen. They are absolutely beautiful. The ducks, and they aren't dangerous. You know what's dangerous is the people who were killing them. The guy that's running around with the rifle, that's what's dangerous. It's not, we have to live in this environment. You know what I mean? I'm not going to get into a lecture, but I just needed to voice my opinion about this. Thank you.
You're entitled.
Thank you. Bobby Levin, could you please come up? Bobby is working on our elections committee, so please heed her words.
Bobby is working on a lot of things. Yep. You can give kudos to Bobby.
You're up.
I don't want to lecture you about the importance of elections. We've just gone through 2 years of politicking on the national and the state level. We've had it. It's already begun for 2024. But we cannot forget how important it is to have a government here in Century Village. We are a self-governing community. The alternative is to have professionals running our community. So please, people, step up. As I said in the article that I wrote in the Reporter, we were all experts in our former lives. Put some of your expertise to work here in Century Village. Just give us a couple of hours a week and help us maintain this village. The election will take place on March 3rd. Nominations from the floor will be at the Delegate Assembly on February 3. If you're going to run, send your intent to run into Ruth. All the particulars are always in the Reporter, or you can call the office for specific information. But please, people, show up, do something.
Thank you, Bobby. Next, I'm going to ask Alan Plotnick to come up, and he wants to say a few words about our COPs that diligently work Century Village.
Good morning, everyone. A couple of little things on the COPs. The first item is that we now have 3 people in training as COPs. That'll give us a lot more hours with the COP car roaming around the village. I do have an article in the newspaper this month. On page 20, there is a letter stating all the requirements and phone numbers that you can contact. If anybody wants to call me and talk about it, fine. I will be out in the lobby this afternoon after the meeting. The speeding, our representatives in the car have a certain amount of paperwork to do. And they've been told that instead of doing it someplace in a back parking lot, try and make themselves seen. It does slow up traffic on the roads a little bit. They are off the road, but the car is there. And they do stop at the stop signs more when the car is there. So that's another thing we do. And after that, I want to wish everybody a happy holiday and make that last drink in your party not alcoholic. Thank you.
Alan, did you tell everybody what COP stands for? A lot of people don't know. We have a lot of new people.
Okay, COP is the Citizen Observer Patrol. We are observers. We cannot give out summonses. We cannot arrest anybody. But we do have a radio in the car, and every representative in the car has a telephone. If we need it, I instruct, and I'm sure that it was given to me in the training session. If you see something, make a mental note and go into a safe place and call into headquarters. And you could call either into headquarters. They have a non-emergency number at headquarters we have, or we have a dispatcher, and you could contact the dispatcher, and he will get the person that we need with whatever kind of help we need. So, and that is somewhat explained in the letter on page 20 in the new issue of the UCO paper.
Thank you. Would you like to come up and would you like to say a few words on behalf? Sure.
introduce him.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Everybody knows Miles.
Niels Heimrichs with County Commissioner Greg Weiss's office. Last time we were here was right before the election, and the fact that I'm here today indicates that Commissioner Weiss was reelected, 56% to 44%, so thank you. He's in for another 4 years, his last 4 years, because then he'll be termed out. On November 22nd, so that's last week, Greg was sworn in by Clerk Abruzzo, and following the swearing in, he was tapped as mayor of Palm Beach County unanimously by his fellow board members. So for the next year, Greg will be chairing the meetings. He'll be going to a lot of, openings of buildings and do all that stuff. So right now it's really busy. Everyone wants a piece of us. He just became mayor, so it's very busy in the office. But last month when we were here, some people stayed because we participated in an event put up by Congressman Brian Mast. Essentially, it was about the types of services federal, state, and local partners provide for seniors. We were happy to be part of that presentation, and the real takeaway of it is, even though Congressman Mast and Commissioner Weiss are of different parties and don't see eye to eye on everything, the real takeaway is whether you contact Mast's office, and I see Derek Hankerson is right there, or our office, we're going to work together and we're going to get you sorted. So whatever it is, if it's a local, state, or federal issue, you can always call me and I'll help you out. And if you call Derek, if it's a local issue, he'll get with me and we'll get you squared away. So that's really, Greg would love to have been here, but he is in a conference in St. Pete. But I expect him to be here next month again. And if anyone has questions, I'm here to answer them now, or I'll stick around after the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. I know we have someone here from the fire department. Uh-oh. Let's call the fire department. Something broke.
Good morning. Firefighter Paul Vereni with Palm Beach County Fire Rescue's 2928 Union. My brothers and sisters are going to be running in here more frequently because it's season and we know your numbers go up. So when you see these young men and women working late at night, just remember when they were little kids with with little plastic helmets on. So when they come in your house, the thing I would like to say is your walkway, keep it non-cluttered. In your house too, so we can get the stretcher in to help loved ones. That's a big thing for us. We go up there, we don't want to have to move things out of the way or trip over stuff ourselves. And God forbid a fire. That's another problem, dragging hose around things. It really hinders us. So I heard the police, slow down, make a plan before you're going off to whatever store. I know it's the holidays. You might have visitors coming in, you need cookies or you need whatever, right? Slow down, make a plan, and drive slowly there because it's the time of year, a huge uptick in fatal car accidents, right? And if you had a couple cocktails, hey, you guys worked all hard your whole life, call an Uber. They'll take you where you need to go, right? So please look after all your friends that are coming down from the Northeast. Tell them to slow down a little bit. I'm originally from there. Tell them to check their smoke detectors. If your carbon monoxide detector goes off for some reason, know the difference between that and your smoke detector. Check the batteries. If the carbon monoxide detector goes off for whatever reason, just get out of your house and call 911. We'll come and take care of it and make sure there's nothing going on. Because we've found people dead in their apartments because they take the batteries out of their carbon monoxide detector because it's not like a smoke detector. When it beeps, it's not telling you the batteries are dead, okay? It's telling you it's picking something up. It could be a false, but let's not find out that it's not false, okay? And that's all I have. Just take it slow. Have a happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and everybody have a great day.
Thank you. Rodney, would you like to come up and say a few words?
One more thing. Happy New Year from all the firefighters in Palm Beach County.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone.
My name is Rodney Statham. I'm with the Palm Beach County Clerk's Office. And just wanted to remind you, our website is mypalmbeachclerk.com. And that's the portal that you can go to this year we've added a lot of new technology. So we have a search bar that's very comprehensive, and it can pretty much answer your questions. If you get stumped, I want to say maybe after 5 seconds or so, a chat bot will pop up to ask you if you need any help. That's our AI software that will help you find what you're looking for. Once you go to a page, if it has that information and you still don't know, at the bottom of the page there's a phone number where you can call in and talk to someone. We've revamped our online record search, so you can search for any documents, deeds, court records, or anything like that. We've also have upgraded to e-certify, so if you need certified court documents, you can do that from home. So if you choose to come into the courthouse at any of our locations, it's because you just want to see us. But you can do all this stuff from home. And again, if you have any questions, there is a phone number on the page where you can reach out and talk to someone. So again, that's mypalmbeachclerk.com. All right, so happy holidays, everyone. I'll see you in 2023.
Thank you. Okay. Do we have any unfinished business? Do we have any unfinished business?
Over here.
Yes, Bob.
I'm sorry. I ride with a couple of groups, motorcycle groups, and we're going to be doing a Toys for Tots run. I believe it's next week. If anybody would like to donate, and I have not cleared this with Fausto or anyone else at UCO, but if you want to bring a toy and just drop it off at the front desk over at UCO, I will collect them, and I will be more than happy to give them to the Marines that are going to be collecting for Toys for Tots. I want to, on a personal note, just want you to know, one year when I was in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and broke, the Marines in the unit that I was with, unbeknownst to me, they collected toys for my kids when they were small, and they gave me 2 bags full of toys, and I sat there and in tears just because I couldn't get stuff for them myself that year. And they are an awesome group, and they help a lot of people. So if you want to donate, please just drop it off at the front desk at UCO, and I'll collect them and bring them to the Marines. Thank you.
Okay. Hearing no unfinished business, do we have any new business? Come on up, Olga.
Fausto, I'd like to ask you a question.
I'll try.
Is the property behind the medical building deeded to the medical building, or is it part of Century Village? The parking lot behind the medical building.
I believe that's deeded to the medical building.
The reason I ask that question is we may have a kind of a legal imbroglio, because I was reading some of HUD's regulation, and under HUD's community, senior communities, anything within that community must be available to all the residents. Now, if that's a religious organization, it's not going to be available to us. So it's kind of a legal quandary, because originally the medical building was part of Century Village. It was not privately owned. So we may have a kind of a legal issue here.
Well,
Not
why
really.
I'm going to ask you to put it in, put it in writing, and we will send it to our attorney to look at it. That's the best way. But put it in writing, and
But it's private property.
we'll get you an answer.
Thank you. Will do.
I know, but
It's private property. It's not, it doesn't belong to us.
I understand that, but you see, the problem is, it's, as I said, it's a technicality here, and it could be a legal issue that must be determined in court as to whether they can have a religious organization within the community, even though that particular one is privately owned. And I say that because originally it was not privately owned. It was part of the community. That's the reason I say it may be a legal issue to be determined.
Olga, this community had the opportunity to buy the clubhouse property, the golf course, that particular building.
Patricia, I'm
They
sorry,
chose-
I'm going to interrupt you there for a minute.
Yes.
I think that this discussion is inappropriate for this venue.
Okay, that's
And we should.
Thank you.
just leave
It's
it
a
at that.
legal issue that has to be determined, and
Thank
I
you,
will
Olga.
follow up on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Olga. Okay.
Is there any other new business that needs to be discussed?
Fausto.
There's someone at the other.
Yes. Go
I would
ahead,
just-
Richard.
I would just like clear up perhaps 3 pages from the end of the handout. There's a list. It says AR Aging Summary.
Oh, I saw that.
The word aging might be clearer if you had delinquent or arrears. This is a list of
Of what?
associations that owe money and the times and the amounts. So if you're on this list, check it out.
Richard, that's a good idea, but you should tell that to the treasurer because he generates this report. If you don't like the
Excuse me,
wording.
Richard.
Let's not get into
A lot of people didn't understand what the aging meant, that's all.
Richard,
Didn't ask.
the reason for including the accounts receivable was to spread the news. And if you look at last month and look at this month, you'll see that anything 90 days and over has disappeared. And so that basically everybody is within 60 days. Some of that has carried over from when CAMs were changed. And if you look at the bottom line, you'll see that actually some accounts have to be looked at because there are overpayments. And we've credited those that have overpayments. So it's a good point, but that's why it's there. And that's why Fausto said speak to the treasurer. Because up until 3 months ago, the accounts receivable weren't part of the regular report, and they felt they had to come in. So actually, you have nobody in the village that's seriously behind. And that's a tremendous improvement from when I first started. But it's a good point.
Okay. Any other business? Any other old business? I would entertain a motion to close this delegate assembly.
Can I ask one question, please?
Sure.
Now that we're there. It pertains to the sheriff's report. We have 187 vehicles that were ticketed or warned. How many were residents? How many were visitors? And how many are repeats? I think that would help us to know better whether it's working or not.
Okay.
So could that be asked this afternoon at the security meeting?
We'll ask that at the security meeting, but I believe that the report stated that they were not only residents, but people from the outside, service people. But we could ask if that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Everybody, happy holidays to everybody. Be safe. Thank you for coming to Delegate Assembly.
We did.
I did. I asked for a motion. Motion made by John, seconded by everybody. Thank you.
Seconded by feet.
Drive safely.